straight from the sub-zero snack drawer of your travel dreams. It's one slice at a time. I'm Meltvin, your gooey guide to all things cheesy and chili. And today, we're talking penguins, parkas, and pizza. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to One Slice at a Time, the podcast where we slice through your travel bucket list one absurd, overpriced souvenir and one soggy crust at a time.
I'm Ryan, travel agent, frozen pizza connoisseur, and future polar explorer. Yes, I'm leading a group to Antarctica in 2026.
And I'm Stephanie, and I'm still not entirely convinced that snow counts as a vacation, but I'm always here for penguin videos. Today, we are doing something completely different. I'm interviewing Ryan about the trip of a lifetime, Antarctica aboard the World Navigator with Atlas Ocean Voyages. Antarctica, like not exactly your standard beach getaway.
No, it is a far cry from the sandals vacations we were talking about last week. Stephanie and I had a travel conference that we attend each year with our agency. And in 2024, Atlas Ocean Voyages took the stage and they played a video that took my breath away. It had pictures of whales cresting, penguins jumping in and out of the water, and beautiful landscapes. So it had the nice music in the background, and people were talking about their experience. It took my breath away, and it sent a hush over the room of 150 travel agents. That was the first time that I had ever had a strong desire to go to Antarctica. Meanwhile, my wife Maggie told me 2 decades ago that her number one goal in life was to visit all 7 continents. If I can't use my job as a travel agent to make my wife's travel goals come true, then really why am I doing this at all?
Oh, you're such a true romantic. So you're taking her to Antarctica. And you've decided to host your own group so you can help even more people cross this relatively untouched continent off of their dream list. What makes this specific itinerary so special?
So I picked November of 2026 way back in January of 2024 because frankly, that was the earliest that I could make it happen with vacation schedules and other things like that. I also knew that the trip was going to be a financial stress for some of the travelers. So I wanted to give them a long runway to make plans. Antarctica, I mean, there's no way around saying it. It's not a cheap thing to do. There are less expensive ways to go to Antarctica and wave at the continent. But if you want to put your feet on the ground, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So as the time of the year itself, it is the shoulder season. So it's right at the beginning of the Antarctica travel season. The prices are a little bit reduced at that time. Penguins will be nesting, and we should see some pretty cool whale activity. One of the possible benefits of going in November at that early shoulder season is that sometimes the ship can pull right up alongside the ice, and they can put down a ramp, and we can just walk right off the ship onto the ice without having to ferry over by Zodiac, which is the normal procedure.
Right.
And since we start the trip in Buenos Aires, Argentina, that's going to be continent number 6 for me because I've never been to South America. And then Antarctica will be continent 7 for me. Maggie, she has already got continent 6. She had work assignments in Colombia. So she is just needs Antarctica to complete her checklist. This will be the 7th continent for her. But other people that are going on the trip, Antarctica is just known for being the 7th continent that people get to. But
Right.
most of the people that are going on the trip, it won't be. It'll be continent 4, 5, or 6 because Australia is not super easy to get to either. And some
For
people
sure.
are just jumping on this trip without having ever been to Asia.
So, what is all included in a once in a lifetime trip like this? Do people have to bring their own snowshoes and parkas? I'm ready, but I don't think I have big enough luggage to pack everything I need.
So I know we talked about sandals last week, and
Yeah.
it isn't exactly the same thing, but Atlas Ocean Voyages is pretty much all inclusive as well. Let me tell you about some of the things that are included. You get your pre-cruise hotel in Buenos Aires. You get a charter flight to and from Ushuaia. You have a guided tour in Tierra del Fuego, which is a national park near Ushuaia. You have Zodiac safaris. A Zodiac safari is like if you think about a safari on the water, that's what that is.
Mhm.
Then you're going to have Antarctica landings. You'll have lectures by the experts that are on board. There's going to be 17 expedition experts on the boat that'll explain things to you about the region, the wildlife, and photography. There'll be gourmet meal, 24-hour room service, top shelf drinks. You do get provided parka, so it'll be ours to keep. So while you don't have to make room in your suitcase to bring it, you do have to keep room in your suitcase to bring it back. They'll also provide muck boots and binoculars and all those kind of things. And people that are sailing with me are also going to get a $200 onboard credit. There's not much they can spend it on, but they are going to get it.
Right.
Almost everything's included.
What you're saying is I can't bring home a penguin, but I can bring home my parka.
Yeah, that's right.
This is such a game changer for people who want to do a bucket list trip like Antarctica, but they feel overwhelmed by our logistics. Like having it bundled together like this, flights, gear, excursions, experts, makes it so much more accessible, even for families who have a multi-generational group or people that normally wouldn't know where to start. I mean, planning a trip like this is a long way from camping in the backyard.
You say that, but many of the people that have already signed up for the trip have also signed up to do the camping excursion, which is camping overnight on the continent of Antarctica. I mentioned that there's a couple of things that do have an extra cost associated with it. Camping does have an extra cost of $700 a person, and kayaking is the other thing that costs $200 a person. So not camping in the backyard, Stephanie, but camping can happen if that is the thing that people would like to do.
So you're telling me after all of this, we're still just planning a fancy camping trip. Got it. No, but seriously, it sounds amazing to spend the night underneath the stars at literally the end of the earth. It must feel like you're completely on a different planet. Maybe the penguins will come snuggle you and keep you warm. Aren't you worried about the polar bears, though?
No polar bears in Antarctica, I don't think. But penguins, whales, absolutely all of those. We will do the Zodiac safaris where we cruise past whales and iceberg landings where we step foot on the actual continent. Each landing is going to be led by an expedition expert, and no polar bears, but we will do the polar plunge for sure.
Okay, wait. Polar plunge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a high pressure situation. Everybody, a lot of people do this. It's an opportunity you'll have on the boat that there'll be a time and people will be like, "Oh, it's time for the polar plunge," and they, you get ready, you get in your shorts and whatnot, and you have a rope tied to you. You can jump right into the Antarctic Ocean. The water will be like 28 degrees. You do it, you scream, you swim back fast. My understanding is what they tell you is that if you jump out farther, it won't be as cold, which is silly.
That's a lie.
But as soon as you get back, they throw a robe over you, give you a vodka shot, and a certificate for your troubles, and then you've done a true polar plunge. Like I know
True.
there's like polar plunges that people do all over the country where they
Right.
run off on the beach or whatever, or even middle of a lake, they drill a hole or
Right.
whatever and jump in. All those kinds of things. But this is a real polar plunge. You're at the
Polar
ice
plunge.
caps,
Listen, I think I would be hesitant to take the polar plunge. But hey, I guess when you're in Rome or Antarctica in this case, right? So, other than a polar plunge, what does a day look like on board? Are we talking lectures or lounge chairs?
Yeah, I think you'll get both. On sea days, for sure, you'll get expert-led talks on wildlife, photography, Antarctica in general. But on deck, there's also heated couches, cocktails, and panoramic lounges. In the room, you've got beautiful rain showers. All the small ship cruise lines love to brag about the fact that you can go into the bathroom, stick your arms out wide. You can do a dance in the shower. The bathrooms are much bigger on these little tiny ships than they are on the big mass market ships. The rooms also have really nice amenities like bathrobes and espresso machines. A lot of people that have booked on the cruise so far have booked what they call Horizon staterooms. There's a couple of different options, but they have normal veranda staterooms. But the Horizon ones, instead of having a normal veranda, you walk toward the end of your stateroom, and instead of a veranda, it is just one big, huge picture window. And you push a button on the wall, and the top of the picture window comes down. And for Antarctica, that's kind of perfect because your whole room sort of turns into a balcony. And when you're at the end of the earth where it's freezing cold, wouldn't it be nice if your whole room is just a climate controlled balcony? So you can kind of sit on your balcony, but your balcony is heated in that way. So
Sure.
kind of great. And yes, you'll want your fleece lined waterproof pants, but Atlas is going to provide your parka and things like that. So that's that.
So, what's the group vibe going to be like? What kind of people you have coming on the ship with us?
So it's a small ship, maximum 175 guests. In general, when you go on a cruise ship like this, the people tend to be social. And I'll tell you why. If you are rude to somebody on day one, it is a small ship and it's only 175 people. You're going to walk by that person you are rude to every single day. So it's going to be very awkward if you like snub them or you're rude to them. You might as well be friendly. So the people tend to be social. It's intimate. You're going to leave with friends and probably 6,000 penguin photos and videos.
So I've seen some very concerning TikToks about the voyage down to Antarctica. Let's talk a little bit about the legendary Drake Passage.
Yes, there are people that go to Antarctica just because of the Drake, because they're excited about potentially having this incredibly wild experience on the Drake Passage. You never know what you're going to get. But saying is you may get the Drake Lake or you may get the Drake Shake. It's impossible to predict. The Atlas captains are going to do everything to keep you safe. They're never going to put you in danger. We may encounter furious waves that make you feel like the boat is really moving. This is where you have to be bold and daring. But if you're super concerned about motion sickness or seasickness, then I would work with a doctor. They have prescriptions that they can give you and things like that. But yeah, it's true. The Drake Passage is like the most treacherous bit of sea to pass. So it's got that reputation. Yes, you've seen those videos. And like I said, the captains are never going to put you in serious danger. So just know, and furthermore, they're never going to put their very expensive yacht in danger.
And
Just know
these
that.
yachts are built to go on this journey. Like they are custom built to go to Antarctica, is my understanding in a lot of cases.
Incredible state of the art, latest and greatest stabilizers are put on these boats to make it. I mean, the same stabilizers that are used on these enormous Royal Caribbean ships are used on these little tiny ships for going to Antarctica.
That's amazing.
Let's hear about the Antarctic Slice Warmer. From the same people that brought you the Slice Sling, today's episode is brought to you by the Antarctic Slice Warmer, the first NASA-grade, wind-resistant, penguin-proof pizza pouch for polar conditions.
Say that 5 times fast. Featuring triple insulation and space blanket lining, your cheese stays gooey even after a glacier hike.
The Antarctic Slice Warmer, because frozen pizza shouldn't literally be frozen.
All right, Ryan, let's do the Crusty review. I'm very interested in Antarctic pizza. What are we going to talk about?
I thought, since we're talking about the frozen continent, let's talk about frozen pizza on today's Crusty review. There are a million options. Over the years, I probably had, I'm being generous. I'd say I had over 100 different brands of pizza, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's probably more. I think the big thing to know is that you can sort of eyeball frozen pizza these days and know whether it's going to taste like cardboard or real pizza. But what's funny, I think, is the store brand frozen pizzas are actually some of the best these days. The higher end store brand pizza, like you can still eyeball it.
Right.
Now, if you want Ryan's pro tip on frozen pizza, though, the way you can get an 8 out of 8 on the Crusty review scale is if you order a Lou Malnati's from Taste of Chicago. It'll come delivered to your house, surrounded by dry ice. It'll probably cost you $20 per pizza, but it's cheaper than flying to Chicago.
So let's recap. You and your incredible wife, Maggie, are taking a very select few people on this specially curated adventure to Antarctica aboard the luxurious Atlas World Navigator. How many spots are left on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure?
As of about a month ago, we were 16% sold out. And I personally have booked a couple of staterooms since then. Atlas being a small ship, they don't let me reserve space. What they did let me do was lock in my rate. So while Atlas's rates to the public are going up each month, the rates that I have on reserve are locked in to what they were when the ship went on sale, essentially. So I have great rates. My rates are at already, I think I have already $1,000 price advantage per person. The low cost cabins though, which are window rooms, they're already sold out. We do have a bunch of extra perks like the onboard credit and the price advantage. Once we get enough people, we'll have even more things like cocktail parties and special things like that. I have a bunch of couples that are actively considering. I do believe that the sailing is going to sell out. I'm not sure when, but it will.
When does it set sail?
November 8th, 2026. You'll fly to Buenos Aires, stay at the Atlas Arranged Hotel. That'll be on November 7th. Then you'll take a charter flight to Ushuaia, and the whole trip runs like clockwork, and it's all included and part of the adventure.
So if you've ever dreamed of going to Antarctica, here is your sign, literally.
Reach out to me and I'll walk you through every step. I'll even help you pick out waterproof pants.
He's taking care of everything. And if you think, man, I would never do Antarctica, think again. This is next level travel. This is the kind of trip that is going to change you.
Thanks for joining us for a deep freeze, deep dish dive into my Antarctica trip. I hope you're feeling inspired.
And remember, whether it's glaciers or theme parks,
take your vacations one slice at a time. Next time on One Slice at a Time,
Ryan has 150 questions about sailing concierge on Disney Cruise Line. And apparently, I'm the only one with answers.
Sounds fun. See you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for today's Slice, friends. If Antarctica sounds like your kind of frozen pizza party, check the show notes to snag a cabin with Ryan before prices go up faster than a delivery fee. And hey, if you like this episode, give us a follow, drop a rating, and share it with someone who still thinks penguins live at the North Pole.